Okay, well, thank you very much. Kumusta kayo po? Ito po si Nico Fabian. Once again, nandito po sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. Pasensya lang po. Medyo ilan araw wala tayo sa programa natin, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. Dahil masama ang pakiramdam namin po. Galing tayo sa travel. And medyo na ano tayo. Na sira ang ano natin, pakiramdam. But anyway, I'm recovering. No? And in fact, I'm supposed to be resting today, but I was so worried about ang mga kababayan natin, no? Kababayan, kaibigan, kapatid natin po dito sa Malaysia, particularly dito sa Malaysia, and very specific dito po sa Sabah, sa Kota Kinabalu City. And of course, lahat na po ang mga kapatid, kababayan, kaibigan natin, mga overseas Filipino workers who are following po dito sa programa ko po, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. And hindi lang kayo, mga overseas Filipino workers, but also ang mga kapatid, kababayan, kaibigan natin po dyan sa Pilipinas, na I know, busy. Today is January 20 na po, no? Madali lang ang panahon, 20 na, January 20 na, and malapit na ang end of the month. Sweldo na naman po, and pagkatapos ng sweldo, we will be entering another, sabihin natin na brand new month, and that will be February, wherein ang mga tao, lahat tayo po, no? Maski nasan man tayo, we are going to welcome the New Year po, Chinese New Year, and that will be on February 17, start of the 15 days Chinese New Year celebration po, and it will end on March 3. Which they call it the last day of the Chinese New Year, and they call it Chap Gome. And hindi lang yan po, no? February, significant date, but also, let us not forget also ang mga puso natin po. Dahil on February 14, ang entire mundo po, no? Ang mga tao, will also be celebrating ang Valentine's Day po. Sana lang po, this Valentine's Day will be another memorable, fruitful, and problem-free celebration that we are going to celebrate next month, February 14 po. And of course, ang February 17 po. And ngayon, nandito na tayo po, January 20 na, and I was a little bit busy din po kahapon. In fact, kahapon, I wanted to go on blogging, but I was so busy, no? I was so busy dyan po monitoring what is happening dyan sa Pilipinas. Ang Blue Ribbon Committee nag-resume na po kahapon. And I suppose, no? I suppose, ang dami mga Filipinos, not only dyan sa Pilipinas, but also kagaya namin dito sa Malaysia, as well as mga overseas Filipino workers po, yon may mga time talaga po, they also monitor ang what happened sa Blue Ribbon Committee. Mayroon tayong mga video clips that I have prepared for all of you. No, I portion of it because ang Blue Ribbon Committee started at 1 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday, and it ended almost after 6 p.m. na yan yata no? Mahaba po. And nandun po ang sabihin natin mga resource person nila, kagaya itong bumalik na pala si former Secretary ng Department of Public Works and Highways, si Bunuan. And nakita natin din po yon sila Bryce Hernandez, sila Alcantara, Henry Alcantara, and dumating din po ang neophyte congressman natin, was very aggressive and walang takot po, no? About corruption. And I'm referring to no other than Congressman Leandro Leviste po, wherein he came out and gave ang Cabral files. So mayroon tayong mga footage dito po. So stick to my program ngayon po. And I will share with you po itong mga whatever I can share with you, so at least you will have the idea po. Once again, I would like to say 1,000 apology po. I was not able to be with you for the past few days dahil masama ang pakiramdam ko po. And anyway, I tried my best also habang nandoon ako sa Vietnam, sa Hanoi at saka sa Sapa city, formerly known as North Vietnam, and ngayon it's already called Sapa City. Maganda po ang lugar, malamig, and this is the reason why I got flu. But anyway, sige lang po, sana you enjoyed ang special report ko po doon sa Vietnam. Okay, let's move to our main topics ngayon po, which we are going to be touching about ang impeachment. May ano na pala, no? Nag-file na ng impeachment complaint against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos kahapon. At the same time, si former Senator Bong Revilla was, or he surrendered already po after lumabas na ang warrant of arrest niya po. No? Ang warrant of arrest kahapon. Kagabi, he went to the police and surrendered himself accompanied by his family po. No? And he's now under the custody of the police authorities po, waiting for the court cases po. No? Court cases sa kanya po. Involved siya dito sa flood control projects. And yeah, mayroon din mga reaction coming from different sectors dyan po sa Pilipinas regarding ang impeachment complaint against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Some negative, some are positive. And of course, a lot of people also are expecting, and no less than our Vice President, si Vice President Inday Sara Duterte, is also expecting that there will be another filing of impeachment complaint against her by next month. No? By next month po. May konting balita tayo dito, and I will be sharing with you regarding these things po. And ano pa ba? May mga Filipinos were saying, bakit si Bong Revilla issued ang warrant of arrest? Dapat daw si former Speaker ng House of Representatives, si Martin Romualdez po. Anyway, nakita natin, we heard na mga authorities concerned na hindi pa strong ang ebidensya against Martin Romualdez. Ganon ba yan? Ganon ba yan po? Yeah? But anyway, sige lang po. Excuse me, I will share with you some stories regarding itong mga stories or topics I mentioned sa inyong lahat po just seconds ago. So, to start with, I would like to share with you itong news article po, which I got it from the Philstar, Legit Media Outlet, ito po, dyan po sa Manila. And the title of the story is Lawyer Files Impeachment Complaint versus Marcos. Nandito na po. Listen to this. An impeachment complaint has been filed before the House of Representatives against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos for purportedly for betrayal of public trust. One of the reasons for betrayal of public trust, including for allowing the turnover of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte to the International Criminal Court, or ICC, in The Hague, and the involvement of some of his officials in flood control projects. Public trust po. Ang handing over of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte sa kustodiya ng ICC, International Criminal Court po, and ang mga opisyalis niya po involved dyan sa flood control projects po, which amounted to trillions of taxpayers' money po. Yan, malaking istorya yung ngayon. So that are the things, three things that ang lawyer to file a complaint against President Bongbong Marcos. The impeachment complaint filed yesterday. Yesterday, it means kahapon po, January 19, by lawyer Andre De Jesus, was confirmed by the House Secretary General, si Chiloy Garfield, who also disclosed its endorsement by Representative Jenny Net Nisia, or Nisay, Pusong Pinoy Party List, who sits as Deputy Minority Leader in the official House Minority Bloc. So, once you file this, sabihin natin, impeachment complaint, it must be endorsed, no? It must be endorsed by another congressman, huh? Or representative or member of the House of Representatives. And sino yan po? Si Representative Jet Nisay. He is the representative of Pusong Pinoy Party List. The impeachment complaint, the first for the chief executive, who is now more than halfway into his fixed 6-year term, would be transmitted to the Speaker, Faustino D. III, in accordance with the 1987 Constitution and House Rules. Nag-receive na ang House, ang Secretary General, and it must be immediately forwarded within 10 days doon po sa Speaker, and the Speaker will look into it. Once this becomes official, and as soon as it included in the order of business, and soon enough will be referred to the Justice Committee, rest assured that we are ready to receive the complaint, said Representative Deerville Luistro, chairperson of the Justice Committee po. Right? So, that is exactly what happened po. No? And let's see po. Let's see kung what will be coming next. No? What will happen. We will definitely, kaya ko po, I will continue to monitor itong situation po dyan sa, sabihin natin sa House of Representatives. Now, ano naman po ang sabihin natin, ang reaction ng House of Representatives, ang Speaker po, ano kaya ang reaction niya po tungkol sa filing of impeachment complaint against BBM, against Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Nandito po. Sabi pa ang Speaker, si Speaker Faustino D. III, kahapon po, yesterday, called for what he intend as result-driven. Speaker Faustino D. III yesterday called for what he intends as result-driven, people-centered regional legislation as the House of Representatives launched Manila's presidency of 47th Asian Interparliamentary Assembly. Our guidance theme is clear. Sandali po, sana yan mga comments na po. From the experience leading the House, one lesson stand by public trust. Public trust is built through results. They said people judge governance by how decisions are made, whether processes, the transaction. Sabi niya po, parang hindi in other words, hindi strong ang basis ng complaint against Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos po. So, yun ang reaction niya po, no? Parang kulang daw po. And we will see if there will be matuloy ba ito po, impeachment kay BBM or hindi po. Kasi remember, the House Speaker will have to look into it and then bring it to the Committee on Justice nila. And kung after scrutiny, they will see na there is a reason for the impeachment po, then they will vote. They will vote ngayon po, no? 2/3 yata yon, no? They should have 2/3 votes, no? From among the members sa Kongreso po. And kung nakuha yan po, 2/3 yata yon eh. Kasi noon mayroon yun 1/3 lang. So, once mayroon na yun po, nakuha yung figure, then it will be forwarded now sa Senado. And the Senate will study and look at it and also will approve kung kailangan pa ba ang trial, impeachment trial ni PBBM, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Just like what happened kay Inday Sara Duterte, Vice President Inday Sara Duterte last year. No? But it was declared unconstitutional kasi more than one complaint na po. So, ito, first complaint dito po, ibig sabihin, so this year, Kung hindi ito matuloy, wala nang problema si President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos po. You have to wait for another year for you to file another impeachment complaint. Let us see. No? Let us see po what will be the outcome. Alright. Ano kaya ang reaction din ni, sabi natin ni VP Sara? Kasi mayroon din siyang impeachment complaint. She is confident na mayroon din magdating by next month another impeachment complaint against her. Ano ang reaction ni, sabihin natin, Inday Sara Duterte or Vice President Inday Sara Duterte tungkol sa impeachment? Okay. Excuse me po, no? Ganito pa ang feelings natin, hindi pa masyadong normal. But I'm just posing myself po because kailangan din mga kababayan natin dito sa Malaysia to know anong mga latest developments. Okay, nandito po ang statement ni Inday Sara Duterte o Vice President Sara Duterte. Vice President Sara Duterte declined to comment on the impeachment complaint filed against President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. kahapon po, yesterday, but said she expects to face her own impeachment case next month, which is described as a fundraising scheme by House members. Let's wait in the next days, sabi ni Inday Sara Duterte, if I have a reaction. Duterte said in an interview at The Hague on a Monday, January 19, when asked about the Marcos complaint. Kasi ngayon po, si Inday Sara Duterte, Vice President Inday Sara Duterte, nandun siya po sa The Hague visiting her father. No? But Duterte also said she was expecting a new impeachment case filed against her once the constitutional one-year ban lifted on February 6. February 6 po ang expiry date of the one-year leave ban. So, she is also expecting. No? And sabihin natin, this is also since last year pa ito po, expected na ito po. There will be an impeachment against Inday Sara Duterte. In fact, December pa lang po, mayroon na mga announcement coming from the other camp saying na they are already preparing for the second impeachment complaint against VP Sara. So yun po, ang latest updates natin tungkol itong mga istorya natin, no? Sa impeachment ni Inday Sara Duterte at saka ang impeachment ni President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos. Sa inyo po, do you think it is kailangan ba yung tuloy ito impeachment ng dalawang top officials natin po, considering na less than 3 years na lang ang term ng presidente natin si Bongbong Marcos? Kailangan ba yun po or hindi? No? And matuloy kaya yun o hindi? No? That's a very big question mark. Alright, tuloy natin po. What happened dyan po sa House of or the Senate kahapon na during the Blue Ribbon Committee. Medyo mainit ang session na kahapon po, no? Especially nakita natin po na banat din si Senator Rodante Marcoleta. He still insisted na it is wrong pagdating sa restitution po, no? For those who are applying for State Witness Protection Program. Na-insist talaga siya po na hindi dapat na mayroon restitution po as one of the conditions for the government to accept this applicant under the Witness Protection Program. No? And kita natin po na mayroon na po na kagaya ni Undersecretary ba yan? Si Bernardo. No? He's now officially accepted na po ang application niya sa State Witness Protection Program. present siya po kahapon sa session. Nandoon si Bunuan, Secretary, former Department of Public Works and Highway Secretary Bunuan. Expected siya, he left sa United States po, November yata yun po, no? September po, November. And expected to arrive December 17, hindi natuloy po, delayed. But January 18 yata yon, no? One day before the session, dumating siya po. And yesterday, he attended ang hearing. So, nandyan din po ang mga iba-ibang mga resource person po. And before they winded up itong session po, nag-receive si Senator Erwin Tulfo announcement na from a very reliable source na lumabas na daw po ang warrant of arrest ni former Senator Bong Revilla. Bong Revilla po. And the following hours, we learned that si Senator or former Senator Bong Revilla himself personally surrendered po sa police last night po. And is now under the custody. And also present during the session po, ang congressman, no? Congressman Leandro Evista po, bringing the files, ng Cabral files po, no? Cabral files. And I will be sharing with you some video clips. Random na lang ito po, no? I will be sharing with you some video clips kung what really transpired dyan po sa Blue Ribbon Committee yesterday po. So, pasensya lang po, no? Because I was not really feeling well. And hindi na ito in order. But at least, maganda din po if you will have an idea kung ano talaga nangyari. You hear what really happened dyan po sa Blue Ribbon Committee kahapon. So, allow me to share with you po itong video clip po. This is my first video clip.
Questions on my involvement with the files. I would hope that we can also discuss the contents of it. But regarding my involvement, I would be glad to face any of those questions when they are brought to me. What is personally important to me is that the contents of the files can hopefully be made public. And considering that the DPWH is here, maybe there could be some kind of commitment on them authenticating and releasing it. And I would also like to note that to add to the authentication of it, I can also provide the committee, Mr. Chair, the list of the encoders, because there is entered by on each. There's around 30 names here. And lastly po, there is a mark na lang column on handwritten notes. And several names that have provided handwritten notes to Yusek Cabral on the projects, which might also be related to the documents in the supposed 6 boxes that were made available in the DPWH. And former Secretary Bunuan is also mentioned in many of these handwritten notes from Yusek Cabral, and because we have the privilege of having him here, it would be great to learn how that was done. And lastly, because of the Senate President's question a while ago on how many of these projects ended up actually having SAROS, would you like the chairman to ask the question that you just mentioned, kung paano ginawa? Yes, Mr. Chair. If I could just make this last point on response to the Senate President's question. I also have here a list of the projects from the files that we checked against the GAA and the DPWH Transparency Portal, and close to 99% of them ended up in the GAA, and maybe over 95% of them have a contractor already awarded to them. And I can also provide this list to the committee.
Alright, yun po. That's our first video clip. And next video clip po, nandito. Let me share with you another video clip po. No? Another video clip, and that will be 236. Sana yun? 236, wherein he was asked by Senator Bam Aquino to paano siya nakuha talaga yon Cabral file po. Nandito. Let's watch and listen to this.
Established how the list was acquired. Di ba? Nakapagkwento na ba si Congressman Leviste? May we know, Congressman Leviste, how you acquired the list? On September 4, with Yusek Cabral, after she had a phone call on speakerphone with Secretary Vince Dizon, and I also had my phone on speakerphone, and I believe that my mother also spoke with Secretary Vince Dizon that night. And Secretary Vince Dizon said that these are public documents and that all of them can be shared not only with me but with the public.
And were these given to you as a printout, or was this a file that was emailed to you?
The printout that I have sent there with a timestamp, September 9, 6:03 p.m., was a hard copy, and I also got a soft copy of that printout from the office of Yusek Cabral, with Yusek Cabral present.
Okay, so yung email na pinanggalingan nung listahan is from a government employee or from an official email of the DPWH?
Soft copy was given to me.
Sorry, USB ba, or it was
Yes.
emailed to you?
USB.
Okay, so may binigay sa yung hard copy at may binigay sa yung USB with all of these files.
Yes. My USB was the one that got the files.
Okay, so binigay mo yung USB mo kay Undersecretary Cabral at kinopya niya from her computer.
It was my USB from their computer in the presence of Yusek Cabral.
Yes, but you have to, we just want to establish how the information arrived to the committee, no? So could you share with us how it arrived here? So, binigyan ka ng hard copy, and how did you get the soft copy?
In the presence of Yusek Cabral, I asked if I could get a soft copy of it, and my USB, after a few minutes, because it wasn't readily with me, was brought by my staff. And it was also seen on CCTV that we were coming in and out of the office. And that time, Yusek Cabral was with us. And that was after a phone conversation with Secretary Vince Dizon.
Okay, so yung USB mismo, nilagay mo sa computer ni Yusek Cabral, and you transferred the file to your USB.
In the office of Yusek Cabral.
In her computer.
In the planning services office computer.
Okay, so
Alright, yun po, klaro-klaro po, no? He was given a hard copy and he requested, si Representative Leandro Leviste requested for a soft copy po, and he gave his USB for them to put the documents po dyan sa USB ni Leviste. So yun po, that is how he managed to get the documents po. And the presence of the late Catilina Cabral, no? So klarong-klaro yun po, no? That is that what happened during that time on how he got the documents, no? Documents. Okay. Ang next video clip I'm going to share with you po is okay, sandali po ha. Para klaro mas disente. Ito po.
That happened September 4 was that when Congressman Leviste came to DPWH and he was asking for the district allocation, per district budget allocation. And this was the one authorized by Secretary Dizon. And that's the second batch of documents given to us, shown to us, and which we are validating. Afterwards, what was reported was that the Congressman Leviste went to the computer and got files from Secretary Cabral's computer. We are not certain what files were acquired. Right after that, we secured the computer. It was sealed off, taken off to ensure that it remains intact and hindi na po siya matamper. And last December, the Ombudsman issued a subpoena, including that CPU, which we immediately turned over to the Ombudsman on the same day, including all printouts of the letter request in his office. And as of this moment, that CPU, which remained untouched as of September 4, is with the Ombudsman.
So only the Ombudsman can actually verify. Is that what you're saying, Yusek Bernat?
That is correct.
Only the Ombudsman can verify because the computer is with them.
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Alright, yun din po ang storya coming from the Department of Public Works and Highways. No? They did not touch the computer anymore. No? they sealed it and handed it over to the ombudsman and let the ombudsman do the investigation. So, yon, klarong-klaro po. The next video clip that I'm going to share with you po is about si Senator Marcoleta na naman, no? Senator Marcoleta. And 158. Ito po. Let's watch and listen to this.
Mr. Chair, if I may, do not preach to the choir. No, I'm not preaching. Sandali lang. Ang pinag-uusapan natin, these people are supposed to be potential witnesses for the state. Kailangan tulungan natin ang Estado para ma-prosecute kung sino-sino ang dapat managot. Kaya nga natin sila ilalagdag. Mahirap ang gagawin nila. Malalagay sa alangin ang buhay nila. Kaya nga yung witness protection is for them. Sa title na title lang makikita mo, witness protection in interest para sa kanila yon. So yung memorandum of agreement, ayun ay dahilan lamang para masiguro mo na sila'y makikipag-cooperate. Kasi kahit na sila'y na-approve under the witness protection program, but they will not cooperate based on the memorandum, pwede mo siyang i-discharge eh. Alam mo, the court can still do that. At saka yung final approval ng witness, state witness, nasa court yun eh. Huwag mong kukunin yun eh. Kaso, isinasama ninyo yung restitution. That is the problem. And I will object to that. Palaging mali yun eh. E paano yung kay Diskaya? Pinipilit ninyo na mag-restitute. Sabi niya, ewan ko kung pinag-usapan ninyo. What did they tell you, Mr. Diskaya?
Your Honor, kung magkano pang i-restitute po muna namin.
Ano sabi nila? Magkano daw?
Ako po, hindi ko pa masabi kung magkano po. Kasi para sa akin po, parang kami pang nanakawan. Parang ibig sabihin, parang modern day na pagnanakaw. Ibig sabihin yung nakaw ba? Siya pa nagbibigay ng pera dun sa ninakawan niya. Parang ganun po.
Sabi niya kanina, it's the agreement between the applicant and the DOJ. Did you agree that you restitute any money to the DOJ?
Wala pa pang maibibigay po. At saka...
Yun na nga, because wala nang maibigay, hindi kanya ipoprocess under the witness protection program. Is that not correct?
Hindi ko pa alam, Your Honor, kung...
Okay, Mr. Chair, paano?
Alright, na yun po, no? Tungkol sa restitution, balik ng pera po, no? And yun na po. The other video clip I'm going to share with you po is tungkol pa rin kay Senator Dante Marcoleta. Senator Dante Marcoleta po. Pasensya lang po because this is not, sabihin natin, in order, no? And I'll see what I can do. But importante dyan po, you have to listen, watch, and malalaman niyo po what transpired dyan po sa session kahapon.
Prosecutor Badulyon, ini-insist mo kasi yung restitution kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng problema. Will you still insist on that?
Sir, we never mentioned that restitution is a condition. Paulit-ulit po namin sinasabi yun, Mr. Chair, na hindi po siya kondisyon para ang isang tao ay matanggap o makonsidera bilang isang witness under the witness protection.
Tapos na tayo dyan.
Kaya nga po, sinasabi ko po kayo na hindi ko po namin sinasabi. Wala po kami sinasabi na restitution is a condition. So I'm not insisting on it, sir.
Hindi mo sinasabi ngayon, but when you were talking about a memorandum, yun ang sinasabi mo, there, pwede namin ilagay yung restitution because it is a matter of good public policy. Ano naman klaseng, kaya nga nahihirapan sila eh. Yung Diskaya, to my mind, were the first to apply under the Witness Protection Program. Ang problema, ang sabi ng then Secretary of Justice ng Ombudsman, ay hindi naman basta-basta ganun. Kaya kailangan isaulin ninyo yung ginanakaw niya. Ang problema po doon, kung wala namang 40 pa pong nagsasabi kung talagang sila'y nagnakaw o nakapagnakaw, sino pong magkukwenta nun? Tapos ano yung in-explain ninyo under a certain paragraph of the law, merong memorandum na kung saan magkukomply sila doon, doon yung pinipilit yung restitution. And I think some of the potential witnesses that can be processed under that program, nagsipagbigay na ng kung ano-ano eh. Is that the truth?
Only those who have been admitted into the program actually returned or made restitution, sir.
Why did they do that? They did that because it was their own initiative or you required them to do that?
It was an agreement between the Department of Justice through the Secretary of Justice, sir, and the
witness applicant po. That is the problem. The agreement is based not on the provision of the WPP. Sabi ko nga, sinasabi ng WPP, it cannot be a condition. Kahit nasa memorandum, huwag mo ipipilit. Hindi po pwede yun eh. Kaya sinabi ko sa iyo earlier, and I think I should tell it again to you. Sabi nating mga abogado, the spring cannot rise higher than its source. The law itself is the source. Ang spring yung memorandum mo. Pinipilit mong ilagay sa memorandum yung restitution eh. O kaya merong ako napabalitaan, parang meron ng gustong umatras. Magkano ibibigay? At kanino ibibigay? Sino magka-account doon?
Alright, yun po, no? Klarong-klaro ang explanation ni Rodante Marcoleta po kay Prosecutor Faudulon, ha? And yun po, medyo mainit yun, ano nila, yun exchange of answers and questions po, no? But anyway, nandyan po, nangyari yun po, and tuloy pa rin ang session po. Now, another video clip I'm going to share with you is also about si Marcoleta touching on the wrong coordinates, no? Coordinates po submitted or given to the President po regarding itong mga flood control projects, growth projects po, no? Growth project and also yung mga substandard projects po. Mali ang coordinates nagbigay kay Presidente, and that is the reason why si Senator Marcoleta was saying, I insisted na you cannot depend on that coordinates, no? Coordinates po. Let's watch and listen to this. Ang discussion, ang statement raised by Senator Rodante Marcoleta po. Nandito yan po. Sandali, ha? Okay. 228. Sana yung 228, ha? 228. Hold on tayo. 228. Ito na yata yun, eh.
Oo, kontra kayo. Yan nga eh. Bakit hanggang ngayon sinusundan nyo yung MIPS? Hindi kayo dapat kumurba agad eh. Nakita nyo, merong PCMA, merong Survey 123, but pinilit pa ninyong kay-kayan lahat using the MIPS. Alam na ninyo, from the beginning, I told you it was wrong already. Bakit ngayon, pinipilit nyo pa, ngayon pa na kayo kukurba? Sabi nga ni Senator Ontiveros, ulitin nyo naman lahat ito. Ang public na naman, magtatagal na naman tayo. Bakit hindi nyo kaagad ikinorba yung pagsusuri ninyo?
Your Honor, nung nagpakuha po tayo ng coordinates for the inspection ng AFP-PNP, dated September 9, 2025, pinakuha na po natin yung coordinates from both MIPS and PCMA. And ito yung ibinigay natin sa AFP-PNP. Ang ano lang po doon is hindi lahat po ng projects ay merong both MIPS and PCMA infratrack coordinates. Pero as much as possible po, kung ano po yung available ay ibinigay po natin.
Di po gano'n, Yusek. Kasi nga, sabi ko nga kay Yusek Bernabe kanina, yung MIPS kasi, very preliminary yun. Pag NEP lang, para lang magkaroon kayo ng NEP. Address pa lang yun eh. Lilitaw, gagalaw na yan pag PCMA na yan. Hanggang sa mapino na ninyo, lilitaw na sa survey 100, lilitaw na medyo okay na yung coordinates nyo. Kaya lang, MIPS palagi ang ginagamit mo, kaya tingnan mo, yung coordinates mo ang baba lang, 2 kilometers. I will give you at least 14 samples of wrong coordinates. Pero ako, nakakuha. Hindi 2 kilometers ang variance eh. Alam mo yung variance na nakuha namin is from 67 kilometers to 400 kilometers. Kasi ang ginagamit mo is MIPS. That is why at the very beginning, I was telling the DPWH, it is wrong to start from the MIPS. Mamimislip lahat ng mga tao.
Alright, yun po. Klarong-klaro po, no? Kayo, how do you look at it po? No? May puntos pa si Senator Rodante Marcoleta. And next, doon pa rin tungkol sa sabihin natin na coordinates po, no? Coordinates. And let's watch and listen to this.
Pinag-uusapan natin ang mga coordinates, Yusek, listener, and you started citing 416 cases. Ito yung parang potential flood control ghost projects, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, following the MIPS, start and ends, you establish that talagang merong discrepancy sa coordinates. Tama. Actually, lahat. Yung 50, more than 50 and less than 50, sabi nga ng chairman, parehong mali yun. Because talagang may diferensya, tama?
In comparing po yung actual na site and yung MIPS start coordinate.
Yeah, the reason is, ang nangyari nga, ang pinadala sa opisina ng Pangulo ay yung MIPS application. If you will recall, nandiyan naman si Yusek Bernabe, during the first hearing of the Blue Ribbon Committee, of which I was the chairman, I already pointed out na ang sumbong sa Pangulo was based on the MIPS submission, which is wrong. Nagtataka ako kasi, Mr. Chair, kung bakit hanggang ngayon ayaw pa nilang sabihin yung dahilan. Nung pinag-submit kayo ng Pangulo, whatever reference data you might have, pwede naman yung ibigay yung PCMA. The PCMA is more accurate than the MIPS. Yusek Bernardo, will I be correct? Kinasyoin ka.
Mr. Chair, tama po, yung PCMA po yung actual.
Yes, and then there is even more accurate than the MIPS and the PCMA. Ito yung tinatawag ninyong Survey 123. Tama? Yun nga ang itong siguro, maski ang chairman, naguguluhan sa inyo, bakit nga yun ang una niyong naisip? Of course, nagpaliwanag si former secretary, tama naman yun, at sa pagmamadali, dahil nga kailangan na ng Pangulo, ang naisip ay yun muna. MIPS, pero ito multi-year kasi, kahit paano mo isipin, yung multi-year, kumagalaw naman yun eh. Kung pagbabasihan po natin ang inyong mga records, tingnan po ninyo, sinasabi pa nga dyan sa PCMA, this is geotag ito eh. Di ba? Real time. So doon pa lamang sa real time geotag, dapat yun ang binigay ninyo. So na-lesson sana yung 421. Anyway, sabi ni former secretary, it's mind-boggling na 421 naman. Siguro nga sa karanasan naman niya, siguro 20 hanggang 50 siguro baka maniwala sa mga. Pero 421, sabi niya medyo katakataka. Pero, Mr. Secretary, I will refresh your memory. Nung ako pa yung chairman, I was expecting na ang pinag-uusapan natin, wala pa tayong numbers noon eh. But nung mag-deliver ng first privilege speech ang ating chairman, kinuwenta namin lahat. Sabi ko, pagka ganito, hindi ko kulangin sa 50 ang potential numbers ng ghost projects. And at that time, you even agreed with me na maaaring ang ganon. Pagkatapos, yung second meeting, naalala ko, Mr. Chair, dalawa lang yung sinabit mo, Yusek, Secretary, na ghost projects ng flood control. Ito nga yung dalawang projects ng SIMS at saka yung Wawaw na nandun sa may Capiz, Taliptip River sa Perez, Bulacan. At yung isa naman ay yung reinforced concrete river wall sa Baliwag, Bulacan. So I was a little bit annoyed. Alam mo naman yun, tinext kita. Sabi ko, this is not our agreement. I was hoping that you will submit to us at least or not less than 50 ghost projects. And then you will remember that because of that text, you texted me back. Tinignan ko uli yun. The date is August 30, 2025. And you bite me a list of temporary, ang subject ng text mo, Secretary, offices. This is August 30, 2025. The total projects na covered by that summary, 2,113. At dito sa report mo, Secretary, merong without structure, meaning cost, 15. So if out of 200 or up to 2,113 investigated projects, meron kayong nakitang 15 without structure, meaning cost, 30,000 mahigit lahat ang projects ng flood control, then we can compute by ratio and proportion 2,113 over 15 multiplied by 30,000 by X. Paano mo nito? So lilitaw dito, Secretary, the potential ghost projects out of the universe of 30,000 projects, pwedeng maging 213 ang costs. Hindi 421. Yung 200, dito sa kwenta natin, it's possible. Is my logic valid? Yusek Bisnar? Yes, Your Honor.
Yan po, narinig natin. Logic is valid? Yes po, sabi niya. So, maganda yun ang explanation ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta, no? But there are some people who disagree also. But anyway, sige lang po. They concluded, they suspended ang session po after how many hours, no? And ang chairman ng Blue Ribbon Committee, si Senator Ping Lacson, he said that the date of the next hearing will be announced later on. No? Later on. So we will continue. I will continue to monitor ang mga programs, activities ng Blue Ribbon Committee po. And once mayroon na silang schedule ng meeting, I will make sure that I'm going to monitor it. And at the same time, kung ano mga latest updates nila, no? I will make sure na lahat ng followers ko po dito sa Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, you will be properly informed. Although I cannot assure you that I will be the first one to do the breaking news po, but definitely you will get the news still on time. No? It's still on time po. Because this is the reason why I'm doing itong vlogging natin po daily, because I want ang mga Filipinos dito sa Malaysia, particularly dito po sa Sabah, no? That maski paano, busy tayo po sa mga trabaho natin po, at least, kung may time na kayo po, you can replay itong, watch again itong video clip ko po, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico, so that you will have an idea. You will have an idea of what is happening dyan po sa Pilipinas. Because you deserve to know it. Na? Sobra ang sakripisyo natin sa labas ng bansa natin. And we are sending money, remittances, regularly, helping our beloved loved ones who we temporarily left behind. And whether we like it or not po, directly or indirectly po, we are helping the economy of our country po. And we are helping preserve ang reputasyon ng bayan natin, which we call the Philippines, and of course, the reputation of all the Filipinos po. So you deserve this news po. You deserve to know what is happening in the Philippines. And I'll try my level best po to make sure po, maski paano, itong Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico will play its role so that you will be properly informed. You will know what is happening in the Philippines. So, siguro, in the meantime, hanggang dito na lang tayo po. And once again, I would like to say 1,000 apology because I was not able to be with you for the past few days. Dahil I was on travel and at the same time, nagsakit tayo po. So with this, once again, si Nico Fabian would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Today is January 20 na po. It's Tuesday. And let's do the best. No? Para itong week natin po will be a fruitful week for all of us. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all. And I'll see you in my next episode. I love you all. Bye.